Hi, everybody. Happy National Blue and Green Day. We're chiming in here. I'm Brianna from Donor Alliance. I am the communications coordinator.
Hi guys, Raya from Wyoming saying hello to everyone in Colorado. Thanks for joining us.
Yes, we are here with our coffees and ready to have a conversation about anything and everything organ, eye, and tissue donation. So make sure you leave those questions below. We'll try to answer them live. We also got quite a few questions in before our live broadcast that we're going to speak to once we are up and live here. But what I do want to talk about first is the connection to Donor Alliance. So I'm the communications coordinator for Donor Alliance. As Raya said, the community relations coordinator in Wyoming for Donor Alliance. And Donor Alliance, for those of you that don't know, is the organ procurement organization that covers all of Colorado and most of Wyoming. We facilitate the donation process, right, Raya? So we're really, as a simple term, we're the bridge in between the heroic donor who made that decision and was able to donate those organs, eyes, and tissues, and the transplant center and the transplant recipient who received that gift of life. So you're probably more familiar with Donate Life Colorado or Donate Life Wyoming. That's where most of you said yes to organ, eye, and tissue donation through that registry site. So as we get started today, I think first we wanted to kick off with National Donate Life Month. So what's some of the ways that they can get involved, Raya?
There are lots of ways that people can get involved. And the great thing about celebrating National Donate Life Month is the creativity that comes in the support of organ, eye, and tissue donation. Our theme this month is Show Your Heart with an Act of Kindness. And boy, Brianna, we need those acts of kindness right now more than ever. We're seeing people be creative from making masks to just shoveling their neighbor's walk. Simple acts like that really mean a lot. And the great thing about kindness is it's the only thing in this world that doubles when you give it away. So that's what we want people to do, is just really do that act of kindness, share that act of kindness on their Facebook page. And the best way to share it with us is to tag us in their post. When they tag it, it allows us to see it if the post is public. So make sure that you make that one post public, tag Donate Life Colorado, and then we'll be able to see those acts of kindness. And Brianna, why don't you tell them what we're celebrating with?
So it's really cool. Once you guys do something kind, we want to say thank you simply by sharing a code to a $5 Starbucks card. So pass it on to somebody else. Use it yourself. Give it to your kids. Give it to your spouse. Whatever you want to do with that, it's up to you. But it's just our way to say thank you for being kind. And as Raya mentioned, really, there are so many different ways you can be kind. We've seen quite a few already. A lot of people have actually gone out, especially nowadays too, and bought a lot of groceries for maybe one of their family members who can't get out to the store. Also, maybe some neighbors that can't get out and buy some of those groceries themselves. That's a great way to help out. Another cool one that I've seen quite a few times, actually, people are painting rocks with inspirational Donate Life messages and leaving them outside for others to see. It's really just fun, and it's a nice way to get involved for National Donate Life Month. It's not too late. Again, we celebrate all of April. So go out, do something kind, share it on your Facebook page. Be sure to tag at Donate Life Colorado. Make sure that post is public, and we'll give you that $5 code to Starbucks to use however you'd like. So that's that with the National Donate Life Month. If you have any questions about other ways to get involved, please feel free to leave them in the comments. You can also visit our website at donatelifecolorado.org/showyourheart to find out some of those more ways to get involved, look up some of those acts of kindness, and see what maybe you've already done that you haven't yet shared. So let's dive into some questions that we received. We saw some come through earlier this week and last week. And one of the main ones that we saw, Raya, I think was, and correct me if I'm wrong, am I too old to be a donor? That's one we see more often than not. And even our advocates, many of which are watching, so hi guys, have told us that that's one of the questions they receive the most out at those DDS stations and some of those events. So what would we say to that?
I would just second that is a really popular question that we hear in Wyoming as well. For those of you that encounter our volunteers out at events, community events, where they're there to, talk about organ, eye, and tissue donation, please continue asking them questions. It's a great way to get your question answered. But to answer that question, you are not too old to donate. We've had donors well into their hundreds contribute life-saving and healing tissues and cornea when they pass. And so we really encourage people, don't rule yourself out. Make sure that you ask those questions, get those answers, and help make an informed decision when you go to the driver's services or driver's license office. Be sure you ask those questions, but you're not too old. You can register no matter your age.
That's a great answer. And really, the simple answer is you're never too old. Sign up, say yes, show your support. It looks like we got one of the questions in here. Can we still sign up to be an organ, eye, and tissue donor during this time? And that's a great question. Thanks, Crystal, for sending that one in. The answer is yes. There are two ways that you can sign up at any time, and more so now than ever. The online way is the way to go. So you can either say yes at Driver Services in Wyoming, the DMV driver license office in Colorado when you go to renew or obtain your driver license. The other way to say yes, especially now, is simple. Go online at donatelifecolorado.org and hit that Become a Donor button. Once you hit that, you'll fill out a little bit of information and hit submit, and there you go. So you'll be able to sign up online now and always. That's an option during this time and as we move forward. Very easy way to get involved.
Yeah, absolutely. So we would encourage you, because the driver's license offices in Colorado are closed right now, if you would like to go to our registry site at donatelifecolorado.org and sign yourself out, make that life-saving decision and say yes.
It's as simple as going online. We know all of us are online now more than ever too, and the website is just below in the ticker there, donatelifecolorado.org. Another question we got in, Raya, looks like, do I need to tell my family about the heart on my license? This is an important one that I know we speak to quite a bit. Did you want to start with that one?
Absolutely. Just take you guys back to February. We celebrated Valentine's Day. Well, Valentine's Day is also known as National Donor Day. And we really at Donor Alliance, we take that day to really push the message to you guys and share with you how important it is to talk to your loved ones about donation. It makes that decision when they're faced with it in that tragic time so much easier when they know that they are honoring your decision, what you wanted to do when you passed. And so it's so important to share that, not just on Donor Day, but throughout the year whenever you sign up, to share that with your family.
And we know that some of the questions surrounding that is, well, how do I start that conversation? And we have a resource on our Donor Alliance webpage and website, Donation Essentials. If you haven't checked it out yet, you really should, because there's a lot of great information there that speaks to so many different topics. And one of the topics we had around National Donor Day in February, if you just search in that top bar there, National Donor Day, or how do I talk to my kids or parents or family about donation, you'll find that Donation Essentials post there where we give you a little bit of information and some tips on really how to start that conversation, because we know it's not one that may come up naturally for most folks. But either way, yes, you want to tell your family about that heart on your license. Tell them your decision when it comes to organ, eye, and tissue donation. Thanks, Lindsay, for sending that one in. Looks like we have just a few comments too. Brenda's joining us and she says, thank you. Thank you for joining us, Brenda. Butch Pratt here says, I was a 70-year-old kidney donor.
Wow.
That's awesome. And living donation, as we know, Raya, is just another way that people really can get involved.
Absolutely. Thank you, Butch, so much for your donation, your life-saving gift. Thank you.
It's a great way. So thanks for sharing that, Butch. Kate Miller says, is donation being affected by COVID-19? So the short answer, really, it depends. So if we bring up here, let me pull up here. We know that there's mounting concerns about COVID-19. Let me bring in my director of PR here. This is Andrea. She can best speak to some of those COVID-19 questions and what's going on right now in the world. So Andrea, you are on and you are live. So say hi to everybody there. Oop, I think you're muted right there. I know, we got technology.
I know. I've been doing that for the last month, so that was.
I think most people probably on Zoom calls and all of that, we've all been muted at one point or another.
Yeah, I mean, we're all getting used to a new normal for sure. I use this as a great excuse today to actually get dressed, put on a real shirt, wash my hair. So thanks so much for having me. And thanks everybody for celebrating Blue and Green Day with us. Hopefully you have your coffee like we do, that midday pick me up. Great questions around COVID-19 and organ and tissue donation and transplantation. Lots of questions around that. Now, Brianna, can you remember what the exact question was on this?
Yeah, so we got one in that says, is donation being affected by COVID-19?
Oh gosh. Well, I mean, just like any medical entity or process right now, COVID-19 is impacting everything medically related. But at Donor Alliance, we are doing everything we can do to plan ahead, to mitigate. We're coordinating with our clinical partners on a daily basis and doing a lot of very specific initiatives that I won't get into to try and mitigate any impact on it. But what I can also tell you is donation and transplantation is still happening. The wait list can't wait. Wait list candidates continue to need these life-saving transplants. There are about 2,000 people in our area currently waiting for a life-saving transplant. So it's important that we continue to facilitate the gift of life. These are considered essential medical procedures. For obvious reasons, they're life-saving for these folks. So, at Donor Alliance, we continue to coordinate deceased organ donation and transplantation at about what we would see our normal rate, on par, maybe slightly lower than what we would have seen maybe last April. So donation and transplantation continues to happen.
And I think it's important to know too that, like you mentioned, the wait list really can't wait because there is an ongoing need for life-saving organs now, before and after. As many of you probably do know, nearly 2,000 Coloradans are waiting for that life-saving transplant. So we're going to continue to do all we can to bring the gift of life to those folks. I know that there was another question too, I believe on the 9 News Facebook page. It looks like, in general, can someone who passes away from COVID-19 still be a donor? That was one that came through on 9 News.
Yeah, so I think I saw that was from Lenora. Lenora, thanks so much for that question. Acute or active COVID-19 is currently a medical rule out for both organ and tissue donation. However, just like many other illnesses, medical science is very likely to change that over time, and even an active coronavirus is not expected to be a rule out in coming years, much like the flu. Now, thinking about people who have had contact with COVID-19, maybe they're recovered. That would not necessarily be a medical rule out. So just like any flu virus or other virus, that would not make you a medical rule out to be an organ or tissue donor. So it's important to know that we screen for these things. That's the job of the organ procurement organization. So do not rule yourself out medically. Even if your physician might think, oh, it's not likely that you'll be able to be a donor. Well, in 50 years, when we become organ and tissue donors, that is very likely to have changed. So please never rule yourself out medically. If you support organ and tissue donation and transplantation and you want to help, say yes at the driver's license office, sign up on the donor registry, and let the medical professionals make those decisions of how you may be able to help at that time.
And to Andrea's point, if you guys have questions and you want to kind of follow what we're doing in the transplant world, at the bottom of the screen here, you see a message scrolling across and it has our website. And we're constantly keeping that updated as things change or impacted in the donation and transplant community. So please feel free to go to donoralliance.org/COVID for any updates or any news and educate yourself on what's happening right now.
Yeah, and please feel free to send in any messages or questions to our Facebook account. So at Donate Life Colorado as well. We're always there to answer anything that you may have, or at least try to get you that answer and point you in the right direction. One of the questions that we just had come through is, what is the age limit for donation? And I
Kind
think that's
of.
an easy one, right, Raya?
Right. So you're never too old, but it's kind of a trick question because sometimes we see people ask this, and what they really mean is, can you be too young or too old? And really, the answer is no. There's no age limit to donation. We have pediatric donors, and we have donors well into their hundreds that are able to contribute the life-saving gifts of donation. So again, just because of your age or your health, don't rule yourself out. Please say yes, and you want to give that gift of life to someone else when you pass.
Great. One of the responses here, I'm seeing a ton of comments come in, so I just want to shout out to a few of you. Looks like Ron says he donated a kidney to his mother 13 years ago in Colorado at Porter Hospital. So a lot of you that have connections, that's awesome. And we really encourage you, if you haven't already, to explore our volunteer program. So that Advocate for Life program, it's robust. We have about 150 to 200 active advocates that you've probably seen out and about at some of our events. Maybe you've seen them in some of our media stories and all of that. They're great. A lot of them have connections. Some just want to support the cause. It's as easy as going to our website, donoralliance.org/volunteer, and to get started there. You can see some of the trainings that we have, some of the events that you all would be involved in. It's really a great program, and we encourage a lot of you to get involved if you have a connection to donation and you want to share your story in one way or another. Great. Just looking through some of the comments here. Another question we just got in from Christy is, does donation affect funeral arrangements? And the short answer to that is no. What else would you say to that, Raya or Andrea?
Oh gosh, we have a hardworking team that coordinates not only with the hospitals and the medical professionals, but also with coroners, with funeral homes. We have amazing liaisons to those key partners and work really hard to make sure that families' needs are taken care of and taken into account throughout the donation process.
And one thing that I think is really important is, that traditional funeral planning for families, and donation doesn't affect that in any way. You're still able to have a timely funeral. You're still able to have an open casket at those funerals. So those traditions that are so important to you and your family, especially in those moments when you've lost a loved one, we really want you to know that donation does not affect those plans. You're able to continue with those plans just like you would in any situation.
Yeah, great answer, Raya. We've seen a few questions come in here, mainly about events coming up. And one of our biggest events of the year, the Donor Dash, which is in July. So we still have a few months to go. And I know quite a few of you have signed up and look forward to that every year. We've got a few come in that say, is it going to be virtual this year? Are we still planning to do the Donor Dash? Is that something that maybe we can make a virtual walk? So I know a lot of you have asked that question. Andrea, do you want to speak to that at all?
Yeah, absolutely. Love the Donor Dash, and thanks to all of you who are hopefully have marked that on your calendar. July 19th, it'll be our 21st annual event in Washington Park. We continue to evaluate the landscape on a daily basis. We're tuning into the governor's updates. And obviously participant safety and wellness is paramount. We have more than 6,000 participants that join us for that event. So it's important that we keep that safety in mind. And, we're still hoping to have an in-person event, but if that is not possible, we will let everyone know as soon as possible, and we will plan something. We will figure out a way for all of you to join us, in celebrating the gift of life and organ, eye, and tissue donation and transplantation. That really is our big celebration as a Donate Life community, and we want to make sure that we continue to have that in some shape, form, or fashion that keeps everybody safe, but hopefully continues to lift those spirits, connect those donor families and the recipients, the living donors, the medical professionals, our partners that really help make it all happen. So stay tuned. You can go to donoralliance.org/donor-dash. We will have the most updated information available there. And if you've participated in the past, we will definitely send out emails with updates on that as well. So
I have to say, last year was the first time that I was able to participate and be involved in the Donor Dash. And it was, of course, the 20th annual. So it was a great one, right? And I was not expecting all of the people that were there in teams. Teams are huge there. And I think that's the main thing, or the main takeaway from that event is, yeah, it's a 5K run or walk, but really it's a great celebration with everyone, or at least most people that have had some sort of connection to organ, eye, and tissue donation and transplantation. It's really a fun and great event. So we will keep you updated. Again, if you just see the ticker below, donoralliance.org/donor dash, check there, and also check our any of our social properties at Donate Life Colorado as well. Great. We got another question in, it looks like, from Cassie that says, can you tell us some of the ways donated tissue helps people? And that's a really good question, because I think more often than not, we hear a lot about organ donation, or a lot of people out there really know maybe a little bit more about organ donation than the benefits and life-saving and healing gifts of tissue donation. So there's quite a few ways that tissue can really benefit other people or save their lives or give them some healing properties. And one way is skin. So donated skin grafts can really help burn victims heal. There's also bone. So many different ways. Raya or Andrea, do you want to speak to a few of those?
Absolutely. One of the things we find very common in Wyoming, and I absolutely know in Colorado, we have a lot of people that are really athletic. They love to get out. They love to enjoy our beautiful states. And we have some athletic people with some ACL injuries. And sometimes when you get an ACL repair, that is done through donated tissue. And so people may not be aware that they've been touched in that way. Another way that bone grafts can be very healing to an individual is through dental surgery. A lot of people don't realize it's used pretty commonly in dental surgery. One of my favorite things to let people know is breast reconstruction patients. A lot of times the donated skin from an individual, donated tissues can help in those breast reconstruction surgeries. And so you can see tissue has such a broad impact across all areas of our lives, even ways we don't think of. So great question. Thanks for asking that question.
That is a great question. And more often than not, we try to do on our social channels too. If you take a look, we have hashtag Tissue Tuesday to give you some of those tips and tidbits about what tissue donation is and how beneficial tissue donation is. I see a few of these comments come through. I just want to bring attention. It looks like Tammy said, my son had a heart transplant at 26 days old in 1996, and he's turning 24 in July, still going strong, which is awesome. We have a few advocates that also spoke at this last Donor Dash last July that are heart recipients, 2-time heart recipients, and more. So really, it's great to hear some of those really fun and inspirational stories from you guys. So keep them coming. Let's see. Angie has a question here that says, what do I need to sign up as a donor online? So really all you need is the internet and go to donatelifecolorado.org. Hit that become a donor button, and you just need to have your information. So your personal information at hand, and really your first name, last name, gender, date of birth, your street address, all of that. You'll see it in the form. It's really a quick form to fill out, maybe 3 minutes. And once you hit that button, you're in the registry. Am I missing anything on that one, guys?
No, I would say that would be the best way right now with the driver's license offices temporarily closed. Be sure to go to the registry site. It's very obvious, orange, be a donor button. So please click that button and sign up today if you haven't already.
Yeah. And one question we get often is, well, I said yes at the driver's license office. What else do I need to do? And I think it's important for people to understand that's all you need to do. Say yes at the driver's license office. And then go home and discuss donation with your loved ones. But that's all you need to do. You don't have to go online if you already signed up. If you want to update your status, update your address, you can do that online on our website at donatelifecolorado.org. But once you've done that, you really don't need to sign up anywhere else.
Awesome.
Yep. That's awesome.
Just reading a few, I have to look down here to see some of the comments that are coming through on 9 News. Someone commented, Nikki, she said, I had a liver transplant when I was 19. So thanks for joining us, Nikki. We hope you're doing well. Another one that came through from Karen says, can skin be used for burns? And the answer is yes. So for burn victims, skin is actually a healing layer that allows them to heal underneath and have their own skin kind of turn back to normal. So it's a great way for healing for burn victims. Great. Just going through some of these comments as we look through here. I see a lot of people leaving blue and green hearts. So just bringing attention to the fact that it is National Blue and Green Day. There are some ways that you can get involved virtually this year, which is really fun. What I did ask, if you saw one of the posts earlier on Donate Life Colorado's Facebook page, if you're decked out in blue and green, maybe you made a nice blue and green day dessert, or maybe you decorated your dog and he's wearing blue and green, or he or she's wearing blue and green, send those in. Those are some of the best pictures. We'd love to see them and fill our feeds with blue and green day pictures. So please do that. That's one of the easy ways that you can get involved for Blue and Green Day this year. Let's see, another comment we got in from Jackie from 9 News watching through there says, my husband received a double lung transplant 2 years ago and he's doing great. So that's another one that we can draw attention to. So thanks for tuning in, Jackie, and leaving your comment there. Let me see it this way. Awesome. Some people are also asking how they can get involved for National Donate Life Month. So if you're just tuning in, we are here today to celebrate National Blue and Green Day. And really it's part one celebration full of a month-long celebration of National Donate Life Month. An easy way that you can get involved this year for National Donate Life Month this April is to show your heart with an act of kindness. And as we know, the world needs kindness now more than ever. And it can be as simple as signing up to be an organ, eye, and tissue donor online, going out and shoveling. Yes, still shoveling since we saw some snow earlier this week. Going out and shoveling maybe a pathway for your neighbor or for maybe an elderly neighbor or anyone else along your street. Buying groceries for those that can't get out and buy them themselves, even checking in on somebody that maybe lives alone and hasn't had able to have any visitors anytime recently. So those acts of kindness are all around us. And there's really an easy way to get involved, right, Raya, is by sharing it on social and then they get something in return.
Absolutely. I just had to call out real quick, Brianna, one of the things that I've seen a lot of socially is people going out at 8 o'clock and cheering and howling. And that is an act of kindness. That's your community coming together to show support for all those people on the front lines. And that helps lift our spirits. We're better together, right? Mm-hmm. So make sure that you're documenting these with a picture, with some kind of little video would be fun and amazing for us to see and make us feel more like a part of it. We ask you to just take those pictures, those videos, put them on Facebook, tag at Donate Life Colorado, and then tell us a little bit about what you did. Like we howled in support, or we, drove by the nursing home and waved and cheered at everyone for a visit, kind of a flyby visit. Whatever your act of kindness is, make sure you tag us in your post and make sure it's public. You have to make just this one post public so that we're able to see it and then recognize you. And we're recognizing you with a code for a free $5 gift card to Starbucks. Doesn't expire. You can use it whenever you want. Or like Brianna pointed out earlier, guys, continue that kindness, help it grow, pay it forward and pass that on to someone else. We'd love to see people participate.
And it's an easy way, I think, this month too, is to just do something even virtually. Send a note, do anything that you can to raise somebody's spirits if they're living alone, and so on and so forth. So share those acts of kindness with us. We know they're out there. Tag us in them, so you guys can get that recognition and a big thank you from us as well. And again, it's in honor of National Donate Life Month and an organ, eye, and tissue donation. So maybe somebody in your family or you decided this month, you know what, I'm gonna sign up. That's an act of kindness, as we know. So please let us know what you guys are doing. It's all month long and it's not too late to get involved.
Absolutely.
I just like to take a minute to recognize that organ, eye, and tissue donation is the ultimate act of kindness. And April 30th, we're going to celebrate a new day, but for a concept that's been around for a really long time, and that is Organ Donor Remembrance Day, April 30th, really celebrating all of those people who've been organ, eye, and tissue donors after death. And, nearly 600 lives were saved through organ donation right here in Colorado last year. And I think it's important to remember that that can only happen because of the generosity of these amazing donors and their families. And by signing up, saying yes to be a donor, and then discussing that with their loved ones, they saved lives. So it is truly the ultimate act of kindness. So I just want to say thank you. I know there are probably many donor families watching, and thank you for your generosity. Thank you, and know that your loved one's legacy truly lives on.
It does, and I think that brings us to a point too of how generous our state is. Colorado being #1 in the nation for saying yes to organ, eye, and tissue donation. We have about 69% of you that have said yes, which is great. We love that spot, and we love the feeling of, I don't know, giving back to your neighbor in this state. So we know it rings true. If you haven't already said yes, and maybe you've been thinking about the idea and maybe you want to now, again, you can do so online at donatelifecolorado.org and just hit that Become a Donor button. Great. I know we have a few other questions in here. I hope we answered most of them. If we didn't, and you have a question and maybe you're watching this back, this is recorded and this will stay on our page. So maybe you're seeing this a little bit later and it's no longer live. Not a problem. If you have a question, leave it below and we'll be sure to answer that in the comments. Send us a message if you want it to be private. And then help us celebrate National Blue and Green Day and National Donate Life Month. Send in your pictures, show us your acts of kindness, and do anything you can to spread just a little bit of cheer and kindness throughout this month. Guys, am I missing anything before I wrap this up for the day?
I don't think so. Thank you to everyone who joined us and asked some really great questions. You got to get your questions answered so you can make an informed decision. So thank you very much for joining.
Yeah, please ask those questions. We're always available as well. Call us, email us, Google us. You can find that information super easy or on our websites. And look forward to answering those questions and then celebrating Blue and Green Day.
Yes, thank you guys so much. Have a great rest of your day, and we'll look forward to seeing those pictures. Have a good one.
Bye, guys.